Rock and roll. All right, party time.
Godzilla said that I should learn to fight my own battles, you know. Godzilla says I have to learn to fight my own battles, you know.
I don't know how they got the voice of Goofy to do Minya in that film, but we'll be showing that one before too long. Welcome to another episode of Big Monster Briefing Room. I'm General Lemuel T. Howitzer, retired, and with me is my able-bodied assistant, Major Millie Hazzard.
Well, I'm so glad you mentioned that intro. To be honest, season 4 intro might be my favorite. It's got some amazing visuals. It's got the audio. I wanted to ask about that audio, that little piece. How did you decide that was the moment you were going to put the audio on?
You go through these things when you're editing. You go through these things when you're editing, and you go, okay, what's the defining moment of that film? And it's about a little kid that goes to Monster Island and he meets Minya, and Minya says, Godzilla says you learn to fight your own battles. So that's pretty much the defining moment of that film, I think. It's a memorable line from the film, you know.
It might be the defining moment of season 4 of Big Monster Briefing Room. You know, you got to fight your own battles sometimes. That's what we're learning.
You know, and I knew I was going to do the kick, the Godzilla kick at the end with Megalon. So that just seemed to be like a perfect, segue right into that. Godzilla says you got to learn to fight your own. So there it is.
And there's some other moments like the zip line, I think, and then the way that it started with rock and roll from Arachnophobia, right? That's from Arachnophobia.
Yeah, well, that's the toughest part of the. I want to pick a really good line for the first line, to get me. I mean, it's tough to follow. What are you gonna do with those pies, boy? Everybody misses that one, from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So you got.
You know what? Every now and then we should run that one just for funsies. We should just every now and then.
No.
All we can do, all 4 seasons have been fantastic. They've all been fantastic. But you're right. The
next season we'll have a new opening. So
I can't wait to see what it's going to be. I don't know if you can.
I've got to buy editing software again to do it, but yeah. So there it is.
So it is.
You're on special assignment, I guess. I'm not seeing you.
I'm definitely on special assignment, but I'm here totally 100% involved because this is the Amazing Colossal Man, and I'll tell you, as a woman, we really like Amazing Colossal Men. So I am just glued to the screen, General. I just love everything about the title. I love everything about the film, and to be honest,
size doesn't matter.
Okay, well. To different strokes.
We're going to talk about that when we go through this timeline.
Roland and I don't have to worry about that because he's definitely an Amazing Colossal Man. But I digress. We got a special. We got a guest expert here. He's got the BDE. You could definitely tell he's got BDE. Roland has BDE.
I'm guessing the E is envy.
It's energy. It's energy. It's like he's very confident. He's very confident.
I thought it was BD envy. I'm sorry. A lot of men have that.
Women get the envy. Women get the envy.
But if you end up with an 80-foot man, that's going to be tough on you.
It's a little difficult, yeah. But it's a lot of bragging rights for the woman. So even if she can't use it, it's just bragging.
That's my big man.
But we do have what I was going to say is we have a wonderful guest expert here today. We love this guest expert. He's absolutely phenomenal. He has all kinds of stories and experiences. He goes out into the field. He defeats the big monsters. I really am really excited to see what he's going to say, what his expertise has to say about this.
We usually have them on when there's like monsters that are like animals or critters or things like that. But I felt it apropos to bring him on for this duology, which is the Amazing Colossal Man duology with War of the Colossal Beast, just one, being the sequel. So let's go ahead and bring him up, Sergeant Major Havoc.
Hello, Sergeant.
Reporting for duty.
For joining us.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Yep. You know, it's funny. Normally, you know, I don't deal with. Normally, I deal with like the general said. I deal with big critters. You know, I've dealt with giant ants, giant rats, giant rabbits, but giant dudes. Yeah, that's a whole other department, but
giant dudes.
Giant dudes.
I love that department.
Bridges is in this, you know.
They make the best.
Hey man, I'm 80 foot tall, man.
They make really good coffee down in that department. Sometimes I just find myself lingering there at the water cooler.
We make the best coffee in that department. Yep.
Absolutely, I've noticed that.
Yeah. There's a beverage here, man. There's a beverage here. So
I'm going to be drinking through my peach tea like in the first 10 minutes of the show, I think.
Make sure you get all the noises out early so that the cadets can hear it, because if you don't want to squash the noises.
I got the incredible disappearing hat. That's kind of cool. Anyway,
you do. It keeps fading into the background, which is you're camouflaged.
He's
keep disappearing into the background. That's good.
It's Philadelphia experiments.
We got some
I
of
almost
that,
wore my tie-dye camouflage today.
Well,
this is an invisibility cloak.
That's right.
We're doing high-level stuff here. People don't know what we do.
Major Millie ain't the only one conducting high-level experimentation things going on. You know, sometimes you gotta figure out a way to sneak up on them big critters. You know, not being seen, because otherwise you might get squashed or eaten,
or something else,
or a giant hypodermic needle thrown through you.
Or exactly, big.
That was the big money shot in both of these films. I think they showed it in the second one too.
And all the kids in the 60s going, "Where could we get one of them?"
All the kids now.
Because it takes place in a Las Vegas desert, the Nevada desert. I figured I'd wear my desert camo today.
It looks wonderful. I love it, General. I love it.
That makes sense.
We colorized this. Unfortunately, the first film, The Amazing Colossal Man, is VHS quality, so it didn't colorize very well. But the second one was higher quality, higher resolution, so we get a better colorization on the second one. Amazing Colossal Man starts out with, I forgot to write the names down of the characters. Anyway, I think his name is Glenn. He's in the military. They're going to do an atomic blast. And he's down in the trench, and they've got their glasses, their special protective glasses on. And all of a sudden they hear a plane engine. And he looks up and he sees that there's a plane in the, and then there's this guy doing the countdown. 10, 9, I love you, Glenn. 8, 7. So I think they got something going on. I really don't know why, but because there's a point here where Glenn goes out to try to save the pilot of the plane, but the bomb didn't really go off, but it's gonna go off eventually. They know
it's kind of like a vibe. You're picking up on a vibe.
So the guy's like, Glenn, don't go out there.
we don't ask, we don't tell. That's right, Sergeant.
We don't ask, we don't tell.
No, we don't.
So it's like,
because we don't want to know. We just don't want to know.
I love you. Don't go out there. So, of course, the blast hit. See, there he is. He looks very distraught.
Mm-hmm.
So, the blast hits. Glenn puts his arms up to try to protect his face, as any normal person in an atomic blast would do. Drop and roll.
And you know what's funny about this? Well, it ain't funny, but This is actually the
I don't know, I
way.
find it kind of amusing.
Well, yeah, this is actually the way that Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk. See, they never show that in any of the other training films, but this is actually the way he becomes the Hulk in the
He's
comic
bombarded
books.
with a giant dose of gamma radiation.
Right.
And I think it is gamma radiation in this one too. This is probably what gave the Marvel guys the idea to do the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, probably.
Now, the original reason why they did this film was because just before it, the Incredible Shrinking Man, is that the name of it? The Incredible Shrinking Man. We got to do that one on the show.
Yep.
Was a huge hit. Was a really, really big hit. So they said, hey, well, let's go the other way. Let's make an 80-foot man. And then they did the Colossal Beast and the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. They did several of these back in the 50s. Thank you.
Yep.
So there's the hospital. Looks very hospital-y.
Duly noted, General. I was listening. Thank you. I was making notes. I was just making some notes.
Well, very good. And they bring Glenn in, and he's a crispy critter. And what little clothes he has on his body, they kind of pull it off like a scab. His fiancée is outside waiting, wondering, and there's a news reporter comes up to her and goes, "Oh man, did he get fried?" He's just being, and then she's like, "Oh, that's my fiancé." Sorry. Oh, sorry. Want to give me a story?
Very awkward.
So inside, what the hell is that they're putting on his face? Is that peat moss? And they're bandaging him up. They're covering him with peat moss and bandaging him up.
They're doing a mud mask, to make him look all supple, to make his skin look supple.
A mud mask?
Because after you get a big dose of radiation,
we want you to look supple.
Exactly.
So there's the doctor and the nurse. The colorization program makes pink hats and sometimes pink masks too. So they wheel Glenn out, and she goes up to the doctor. Oh, is he going to be all right? And the doctor basically laughs at her face. He's been burned out 100% of his body. I'm just going to leave you out here in the hallway alone to think about that. And that's what he does.
What an asshole. He's a total asshole.
The Dr. House?
Very Hugh Laurie. Very Hugh.
So they put him in a nice little, a tent, oxygen tent, and shut down all they make a big production about shutting down all the blinds and everything, because he's probably, he doesn't want any sun to hit him. He's probably feeling a little toasty, like bad sunburn. And she freaks out because she opens up his bandages and he's completely healed overnight. So she goes and gets the doctors and they're like, oh, the peat moss worked. Now they have no idea why the hell he's completely and totally like blemish free, no scabs, nothing.
Very supple.
Yes, he's very supple.
When you think of the Amazing
extremely
supple. Supple. That's exactly what you think. That's the very word.
Mm-hmm.
How's that peach tea there, General?
Thank you. Excuse me. They have a little meeting, and they're like, well, what happened to him? I don't know what happened to him. Do you know what happened to him? No, I have no idea what happened to him. Why is he cured? Well, let's show a video. Your gamma radiation and you. God, you gotta watch one of these. Hey. Oh, good. They're going. They're fast forwarding to the gross part.
You gotta get to the good
this
part.
is a scene where she, in the middle of the night, is wearing all of her clothes, and a guy comes in from the military to say, "Hey, look, they're taking your fiance away. You're not going to see him for a while." What? What are you talking about? So she goes to the room. Sure enough, his bed has been emptied out. His room looks very clean, tidy, supple, whatever you want to call it. She goes to the registrar, or what the hell you call the people that answer the phone, for crying out loud?
Operator?
No.
Receptionist.
Receptionist.
That's the word. The supple receptionist.
And receptionist calls away, and she looks at her little notepad there. She's like amateur detective. She finds an address to a top secret military base on the clipboard. She goes, I'm gonna drive out there. I'm gonna find Glenn. And that's what.
No wonder people keep wandering into the building.
So she goes to Area 54. Rehabilitation and Research Center. Yeah. That's that Army Rehabilitation and Research Center. And this woman can talk her way into anywhere. Hi, I'm the fiance of... Oh, really? They didn't tell me about you. So they wave her in, and she sneaks around a little bit until she finds Glenn's room. And Glenn is now a 50-foot giant. And he's growing about 10 foot a day. That's what they're saying. So, and he's bald.
And you see her face? Do you see her reaction?
Yes.
That she's thinking about how she's going to accommodate this. I mean, this is a woman thinking practically.
You're sure?
She's thinking practically. She's like, this is a lot. I don't know if I signed up for something. I don't know if I can complete this.
Thinking about that BDE.
BDE, but this is a lot of BDE. You can see it on her face. She's trying to,
she can ride it like a pogo stick.
That's a visual. That's a visual.
Put one foot on both sides.
Let's blame it on the PhD cadets. Don't write that in your notes, cadets. That's not relevant. That's not biologically relevant to the big monster, I assure you.
Come on, Glenn. Stop thinking about baseball.
What's in that peach tea tonight? What's in that peach tea?
And Glenn looks happy.
I'll never be able to read Pogo the same way again. The cartoon. I'll never be able to read Pogo the same way. Oh, goodness gracious.
I don't think I've laughed this hard since Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Oh my God.
So they have a little meeting with Glenn's fiance. That's what she's throughout this. She's going to be Glenn's fiance. I don't even know her name. You might want to look up IMDb. Well, let's show you this chart. Glenn's bones and you. His bones are growing, and his skin are growing at an amazing rate. Baseball. So Glenn is dreaming, and it's not a happy dream. He's dreaming about when the Korean War broke out, and he has to go off to the Korean War, and he's telling his fiance, don't worry, honey, I'll be back before you know it. And then they show him out in the field fighting the North Korean soldiers. Nice little bloody shot to the face there. But his friend is dead. And then we fast forward to the test site where the bomb goes off and he wakes up. He wakes up just when he gets fried. We have a lot of lovely little props there. A little pitcher that's about the size of a thimble. A little tiny telephone. And none of that freaks him out until he puts his hands on his head. And he realizes, I'm bald! And he freaks out. Ah! So that's what freaked him out.
Priorities.
I'm a giant and I'm bald.
He's got priorities.
I'm a giant and I'm bald. So she goes and talks.
I
think this guy's trying to make time with her now. He's like, oh, well, his body is he's getting big. My gosh. I want to go out for dinner. So she goes and sees Glenn, and he's not happy. He's depressed because he's a big giant now, and he feels like a freak. And he doesn't know how he's going to get back down to normal size. You got truck delivery guys going, "Hey, who's eating all this food? Who's eating all this food we're delivering?" "Oh, yeah, we got a 50-foot giant." "Yeah, right, buddy." So they're working on something to stop his growth because he's growing, again, 10 foot a day. He's up to about 70 feet now. They go out for a nice drive in the country and have a little philosophical discussion. "Glenn, do you like it when I ride you like a pogo stick?" Just feels weird. Feels weird. I don't like it.
Would you rather be a colossal man or a shrinking man? If both of you had to decide, which way would you go? If you had to make a decision, you know.
I think I think Colossal Man for me.
Yeah, no man, no,
I think most men.
no man wants to think about
would answer
shrinkage.
that.
No man wants to think about shrinkage.
You don't want to go to the shrinkage, okay?
We don't want the shrinkage.
You won't do the shrinkage, okay?
We got.
Darn, it's cold in here.
Okay.
It's the Incredible Shrinking Man.
We have enough self-esteem issues as it is.
Okay. Understood.
Don't worry, honey.
Understood.
It's okay.
That is totally understood.
So he gets all upset.
Guy,
He walks off, stomps off, and of course this guy's still trying to make time with her, and she's like, "Will you stop? I love him. I love the big lug." So he goes crawling back into his circus tent. They got him a circus tent to live in now. He's getting too big. And a little guy shows up, and he's like nervous. "I just wanted to bring you something to read." I can't read this. Actually, that's he's trying to read the Bible there before the guy shows up. And of course, I mean, look at the look on his face. I mean, that's how. Here comes the guy. "Excuse me, sir." "Sir, oh, you come to look at the freak, yeah? Please don't eat me. Please don't hurt me. Oh my God, I got a wife and kids." This guy's like really nervous.
And I was
because
sure,
Glenn is like making jokes about himself being a big monster and everything. "Come to see the giant freak, did ya? Please don't snap me like a twig, sir. I was just bringing you the paper." It says man survives. Was it plutonium? Oh, it was plutonium. That's what it is. Plutonium blast. And then Glenn is making some faces like he's having a heart attack or something. And and what it is his organs are not growing as fast as the rest of his body. So they're having a hard time keeping up. So this is not good. So they have to stop his growth because it's going to kill him. You know, he's going to grow too fast and his organs are not going to grow enough. And they explain that in a video to Glenn's fiance. Your organs and you and your fast-growing body. There he is showing, well, you know, he's going to be just fine. You guys are working on a cure, right? And, you know, they're talking about getting him back down to regular size. And, you know, that doesn't seem possible. But anyway, so she goes and tries to console Glenn, you know, tell him everything's okay. It's all right. And again, he's not happy. He's not happy being a freak. Sorry. I'm being a little unkind. So we get a lot of dialogue between Glenn and people, you know, where he's telling how he feels about the experience of growing into a giant guy, and you know, everybody's afraid of him now, and you know, he's got all these little things he's got, you know, that he can't deal with. I can't even pour myself a decent glass of water.
I've developed a drinking problem.
One of the doctors actually says, "Look, I think I found something that'll stop his growth." They're like, "Oh, really?" And he points over the wall, and there's a miniature elephant and a miniature camel. They didn't see that when they walked in, evidently, until he points it out. That was a terrible elephant. There we go. That's better.
It's better.
Little one.
Ooh. That's when it's spraying the water. That last one was the water spray.
It sounded like a fart. So, okay, so Glenn escapes, and they go looking for him in a helicopter. And the doctor evidently can fly a helicopter because he's the pilot. So, isn't that convenient? So, a couple of drunk guys are out there in the middle of the desert, driving around in the desert between Vegas and LA, and there's Glenn all depressed on the highway. Oh, leave me alone.
It's Hunter Thompson.
They're in Las Vegas.
This poor schmo that looks like Jack Warden gets one scene, where he goes on the telephone. Oh, really? You found him? That's like his only scene. So they go back out again in the helicopter, and they got the giant syringe full of the liquid that they have come up with to stop his growth. And they said the shirt was tagless. And so Glenn decides to go to Vegas.
His shirt was tagless.
Yes.
That's gotta be the subtitle of this episode.
They said this shirt was tagless. Now, there was a go back to that slide we just were at. He picks up the Vegas crown off the top of whatever casino that was at the time, the Crown Casino or whatever. There was an opportune time here where he could have just put it on his head, but he didn't do it.
I'm the king of the world.
Did you all come here to see the dancing freak? I mean, they could have gone full out on that, but no.
Right.
They didn't do it. So, and Danny Thomas is playing at the dunes. See how Glenn's body didn't really colorize in that shot for some reason? I don't know why. And then there's the famous cowboy one. This is the old strip, obviously, the old Vegas strip before they made the new one. They get the big cowboy there. And going, what are you looking at? So they finally catch up to Glenn. Look at this picture here. Doesn't he look like John Saxon from Enter the Dragon? And
yeah, a little bit. Yep.
He's looking in the helicopter there. And the poor guy, oh my God, I gotta stick this guy with this needle. He's gonna kill me. And sure enough, they do. They ram that needle into his ankle and push that stuff in there. And Glenn does not like it. Of course, that hurts a lot.
Well, yeah.
Because it's a giant syringe in your ankle. So I mean, if you're an 80-foot giant and he's 80 foot now, what are you going to do? He picks up the syringe and hurls it at the poor little guy right through him. And I bet you kids in that 1950s, kids were talking about that for weeks, I bet. Oh, and they took a syringe, man, and he threw it into the guy. Threw it right through him. And it's one of those things where you can see it's like under the guy's arm. Yeah, you got me. But again, I bet kids were talking about that for months after that. So Glenn picks up the girl. You know what? I'm going to Hoover Dam with you. We're going to have our honeymoon. Glenn takes her to Hoover Dam.
This is better
and
than
they say,
Niagara Falls.
we can't shoot at him. He's got a girl in his hand. Go ahead, shoot him.
Collateral damage. What the heck?
Yeah, one less whiny bitch. I'm sorry. I don't know what is wrong with me this show. I'm sorry. I apologize.
This is the best. This is the best show we've ever done.
Seriously, I am like in a mood.
There's so many.
I think there's like chauvinistic tones in this movie. And it's kind of channeling through me.
There's a lot of TikToks. There's a lot of TikToks here, General. There's a lot of TikToks.
Jeez. Please put the apology in at the end.
We'll have a trigger warning.
Okay, so now, we've had Linda Miller on the show from King Kong Escapes, and she had a terrible, terrible voice dub for the American English version of that Japanese monster movie. Kong, King Kong, put the boat down, Kong. And this is exactly the same voice. This woman, Glenn, put me down, Glenn. It's exactly the same, almost identical. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll put you down. He puts her down, knowing that he's probably going to get shot with a bazooka and going to fall off the edge of the Hoover Dam, which he does. And wonderful special effects here. They have him falling off the Hoover Dam, and it's like, okay, we'll light you and just lean over. See, and we'll light you, and that's what we'll show falling off the Hoover Dam. Just you bent over. Ah! Down into the spray. And of course, there's the distraught girl. I can never ride him like a pogo stick again. His fiance is just traumatized, and the other two guys are like, well, yep, he's dead. And that's the end of American International Pictures. Actually, Roger Corman saved him for another 10, 15 years, but then no. So, okay, so we go right into the next picture. You can see it's a much better, much higher quality copy of the film. I do apologize for the first one being kind of a VHS. And this is War of the Colossal Beast. The
Colossal Beast.
Colossal Beast. The program that I use to colorize sometimes chops off edges of slides. Anyway, so War of the Colossal Beast. So there's a truck zooming through the Mexican countryside, and that young poor boy there is looking over his shoulder like, oh my God, he's coming. What it is it's a food truck, and it's being chased by Glenn, the Colossal Beast now. And he's freaking out, and he the truck falls into a lake, and the boy freaks out, and cut to Guapos, Mexico.
You know that's my favorite breakfast right there. Guavos rancheros.
Guavos rancheros. Wow, that's where they come from. Guavos, Mexico.
I've been waiting all night just for that.
And put the toilet paper in the icebox.
Yeah.
So then we got this guy. He's like, hey, this kid took my truck. I want my truck back. I hired him to deliver some catering.
Get the picture?
And you know, and he said, describe the kid. And he just gives this really general description. And he goes, hey, that's the kid that is the kid who's across the street, senor. It takes him across the street, son. Oh yeah, that's him.
He looks kind of Mexican.
He's traumatized. He's not saying anything to anybody. He's catatonic, but with wide eyes. So he takes him out to where the truck was, where the boy was found. The truck is gone. You can see where it skidded into the water, but no truck. So it just disappeared. So this makes the news story, and Glenn's sister now. This is the female of the movie. It's not his fiance. You would think it's his fiance, but then they would have to hire the same actress. See, this is what happens when, agents in Hollywood get involved. So not only is Glenn not Glenn in this movie, it's somebody else wearing a prosthetic over his face, so you can't know that it's not Glenn. But this is his sister now, not his fiance, who's looking for him. His fiance probably got married to the doctor or something. She doesn't care. It's been a couple of months since Glenn disappeared, and the Hoover Dam fell off the Hoover Dam. And the military's like, oh, well, he's dead. He fell off the Hoover Dam. He's dead. We hit him with a bazooka for crying out loud. He's dead. But she's convinced that he's probably still alive. She's trying to find him. So she asks the guy, and the guy's like, I can't help you. Hey, what are you thanks for the ticket. Thanks for the ticket to Vegas, baby. And this military guy, he's very skeptical. He's like, yeah, I know you want your brother to be alive, but, you know, he fell off the Hoover Dam. You know, nobody's seen him since until now. Yeah. So she goes to Guabos, Mexico. Just to prove him wrong. And she meets up with the little boy, and she says something to him that triggers him. Something about it. She said giant man or something, and it triggers him. Ah! He starts speaking in Spanish and yelling out loud. And he's saying giant man, giant devil man. So she's pretty much convinced now that it's her brother. And he turns over, no, my blanket. Now, here's the fun part. That's his blanket. They go out to the scene again where the truck skids into it, and for some reason none of them saw the giant footprint before. They went out the first time.
Yeah,
for the sheriff, the first two, this is not a very good sheriff. The first two times he didn't see a giant footprint next to the water there, but now they see it. She sees it. Oh, look, there's some giant footprint with blood in one of the toes. I don't know, the colorization program did that. I don't know. So, okay, so they know that he's probably in the area. Let's check around the area. Let's reconnoiter a little bit. They reconnoiter a little bit, and they find like a graveyard of food trucks. Now, that didn't make the story on the news. A kid who is traumatized by something he doesn't know and a truck disappears, okay, that makes the news. But like 25 food trucks disappearing in Guabos, Mexico, that doesn't make the news. So, anyway, Glenn shows up. And he's got a big hole in his head, and his teeth are gnarly, and he sounds like. That's all he does. That's all. Those are the noises he makes. So thank you for the close up on that. So he's picking up toy trucks and eating the food out of the back, and you know, the guy is telling her, be quiet. He's going to see you. And he's going to try to eat you. He's a savage now. If that's your brother, he's look at his head. Look at his head. So evidently when he hit bottom with his left or his right eye. So you can look right into his eye socket there. That is nice. And his shoulder's all banged up too. So anyway, now they're trying to figure out what to do with Glenn. How are we going to capture Glenn? Where are we going to put Glenn? You know, we got to study him. We got to see if we can get him back to normal again. Dang, but did you see that face? So she talks the guy in the military into doing another food truck, you know, and they're going to fill the food with tranquilizer, which is a smart idea. It's a good plan. He's going to eat the food. He's going to pass out. Then they'll be able to, you know, take him wherever they want to take him. I think they take him to Los Angeles this time. So there he is. He chases after the truck. They're hiding behind the rock. They got out of the truck. Smart. You know, they're hiding behind a big rock. And so there it is. And of course, you know, good actor. Now, his body is even different. In this, you know, his man boobs are different. What can I say? You know, it's pretty obvious. That's not Glenn.
It's some other guy.
Let me tell you something. He falls like a girl. Look at him. He falls like a little lady.
Now I gotta say,
they got him at the airport, and What? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I gotta commend that Mexican sergeant, the policeman. You know, I mean, he stayed pretty cool through the whole thing. You know, I mean, it's a big giant gringo running around, stomping on and eating food trucks, and he's like, "Oh yes, well, okay, we're going to."
You asked me about the big giant gringo. I would have told you about him.
You know,
he's been taking trucks for 5 months now.
And I get, because we don't see him again. Well, because they moved, you know, to Los Angeles. But obviously, the big giant guy falls on him, and nobody mentions a word about it later on. He's like, "Oh well, you know, got squashed. Too bad."
He didn't fall. He didn't fall in the sheriff, did he?
Yeah, he was running.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I just remember he felt like a girl. So something we haven't
Girl
mentioned
is
too is the loincloth that Glenn wears in these films. He's got like a little loincloth on, like a Tarzan thing. And evidently it's made of stretchy material because it grows with him. It stretches with him, keeps his package in place. So now they're talking to the mayor of the airport, and the mayor's like, I don't want him to come in. There's no place to put him. And they go, well, what about that hangar over there? It's like right next to him. It's like, oh, no.
What?
So they put him in the hangar. They rope him down with giant ropes. Not a good idea. Glenn starts dreaming again, and we get a better version. See how much cleaner that is? We get a better version of the dream where Glenn goes out. Glenn, come back. I love you. Giant mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
And
we get the flashbacks.
Glenn is flashing back. So you get the story from the movie. Now look at the slide on the bottom right. His head is pink, but the rest of his body didn't colorize. I don't know why. Damn, I'm out of peach tea.
Just a little ash. Just a little ashy there.
You're looking a little pale there, Glenn. So, and the fight with the Texan, the big tall cowboy in Las Vegas. Now, see, look at his body. His body looks completely different.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit bigger beer belly. Glenn does. I must admit his head. Oh, there's the famous scene with him. Little lawn darts. Want to play a little lawn darts? There we go. So
that's where they got the idea.
I love the look Glenn gives after he stabs the guy through the body with the thing. Hey, yeah, take that. He's so happy with himself. Evil.
He keeps. Here he kind of looks a little bit like a cross between Michael Ironside and the dude from The Mummy.
The dude from The Mummy. You mean Arnold Vosloo?
Yeah,
the guy that ended up becoming
Vosloo.
Darkman?
Exactly.
That's just because he's bald. Come on now.
Yeah.
To me, he looks kind of like a bald John Saxon. Now, and granted, John Saxon wore a toupee most of his career, but I think he had some hair on the sides. He just wore a toupee on top. Yeah. But he's also in the Freddy Krueger films. He's the father. He's the in the first one and in the third one he comes back briefly. Is it him? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So yeah, John Saxon, but he's best known for his Enter the Dragon. He's in Enter the Dragon. He did a lot of other stuff too. So Glenn is having a hard time sleeping again. And he ends up breaking free. And again, looking very pale there coming out of the airplane hangar. Come on, Glenn, run around. Get your body circulating again. And he's at the airport scaring the hell out of people. Now, I think that this actual moment in this film actually influenced the airport scene in War of the Gargantuas. That's my feeling. Because it's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
The man walking through, the giant man walking through the airport, people are freaking out. The reactions. Now the one thing they didn't do was this the shot where he looks in the actual conning tower there, the air tower. They should have done that as maybe they did do it in War of the Gargantuas with Gera, the Green Gargantua. And the military's like, oh my God, he's free. He's free. Do we got any of that tear gas? Make him go to sleep? Yeah, I think we do. They were ready for him. Okay, clearly not Glenn there. I picked this slide particularly to show how different Glenn looks in this shot.
Mm-hmm.
This is just some kid from college. Yeah, we'll put a prosthetic over his face. Nobody will ever know. Just don't have him turn to the camera. Don't have him turn his left side to the camera. Oops. So So yeah, they put some gas and some rockets, shoot it up there, gas him, and he falls like a girl again. I don't think he fell in the mayor. No, there's the mayor.
Yeah.
So this time they tie him down with chains. Much better. Big chains. They had him tied up with rope. They really thought that rope was going to hold him. He's an 80-foot man. So his sister's getting on the line. She's trying to find a little island or someplace they can take Glenn to, so that he's okay, so he's preserved. I don't know.
No. She's asking for the blood. Blood's supposed to be. And,
Oh, that's right. He needs blood plasma. What?
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
And
For experimenting.
no, because he got wounded. He got, they were shooting at him all this time, and then
Oh.
he fell, and so it was like,
Oh, the sheriff.
We need blood. Yeah.
Well, okay then. They do try to find him a place to stay, though, right? Somewhere.
Yeah. But that's yeah.
So in this scene, they put a giant screen up above his head, and they're projecting images of his childhood, trying to see if they can get through to Glenn, get him to communicate instead of because that gets that's no conversation. Sorry. And they show a picture of him with hair, and that's when he freaks out again. I had hair.
Yeah, my hair.
I have beautiful hair. So here we can see the actual chain bolted to the floor. The chain that's holding him down. I don't think that's going to hold him either.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're like, see, you can't get through to him. You can't get through him. And he breaks free again. And then the guy comes on TV and goes, guess who escaped again? Oh, Glenn's escaped again?
Who'd have thunk it?
And they show a nice shot of a police car. Makes you feel real comfortable right there, knowing the police is on the way. The popo is on its way.
Mm-hmm.
Just one car. Well, we're fine then. Griffith Museum in LA, used for lots of movies. Lots of movies.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, there's a junior high school that made a visit in the middle of the night.
What's an observatory?
Okay, we're gonna do a field trip at night, folks. We know that school is usually during the day, but yeah, you did point that out, so I'll go with it. So these kids, they don't even have any idea there's an 80-foot man tromping around in the woods around the Griffith Park. And luckily they have huge searchlights on the premises right away. Because it's Hollywood,
Yeah.
Yada-da. Hey, it's the 80-foot man. Yada-da.
Oh, I thought the military brought the searchlights.
They're there right away. You just walked over there. Boom, searchlights are waiting for him. There he is. There he is.
Can a guy just take a poop in private?
That's it. He just wanted to poop and not everybody watching him. Keep the press out of here. But you didn't even give me a cat box or anything. That's a good point. That's probably what he was off to do.
Yeah.
Look at that. Ooh, it's a searchlight. Ooh. As 80-foot people go, this guy's kind of a wimp. And then he picks up the bus of kids. Everybody, collective sigh. There's one of the kids' mother.
Mom.
She shows up just in time.
Lori,
I told you not to get on the bus.
I brought her coat.
She brought the coat. That's right. That's why she was there.
Yeah.
I brought your coat, but you're not going to need it now. You might need a new pair of trousers.
Oh my god! Oh my god! The general is on fire. Oh man, is that peach tea? It's the peach tea.
No coat's gonna clean that up. Well, come on, you're not gonna keep it clean, with a giant man picture bus up over his head.
Yeah, they're all screaming and carrying on.
The sister goes out there and she appeals to Glenn, whose eye socket is wide open. and he starts to understand.
Down.
And even says her name. And here's an interesting part now. I didn't have to colorize the last few frames of this film because they did it for me. At the end of this movie, it's a black and white film, most of it. They colorized Glenn's death. Go figure. So he reaches out to her. He says her name. Definitely not Glenn there. He walks over to the electric lines. The electric lines.
Yep,
for
power
the
lines.
area.
Yep.
Power lines, yeah. And he just reaches out and grabs right onto him. And there should be, like giant burned man carcass all over that thing.
He just disappears.
He just disappears.
Just vanishes.
Just poof, vanishes. He goes off to another dimension.
That just
That
doesn't
plutonium
seem
has some strange properties.
It doesn't seem accurate. And as training films go, I think that got a little inaccurate.
And she looks up there, oh my God, Glenn, you're electrocuting yourself. Where did he go? Where's his burnt carcass? Should be hanging all over that thing. Nope, just disappears. Poof. And now for my next trick. I'll reappear in a sequel 50 years later. The end of an American International picture in color. Last 2 minutes.
Well,
last minute.
It was a bold and a valiant move, I guess. How else could it have ended, really?
Yeah, you realize.
Well, I mean, it's convenient that the military doesn't have to clean that mess up, but.
He just wanted to save everybody. At
the end of Night of the Lepus, the bunnies hit the electric tracks, man, and you got dead bunny carcass all over the place. You don't just evaporate when you electrocute, especially if you're a giant.
I wonder if the sister regrets, appealing to him like that because, or maybe she was just so annoying he didn't want to deal with her.
That's possible.
What kind of backstory do they have? What kind of relationship do they have?
Put the bus down.
Glenn, you don't want to hurt the children. You don't want to hurt the kids.
At the end, they could have just shown his body, like normal style, like the electricity brought it back to normal. But no, I guess this is it. We're done.
It would have been cool if the electricity had returned him to normal size. That would have been very cool.
Yeah, that would have been a bold move.
That would have been a bold move. It would have made just as much sense as him disappearing.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, though, that then it would have to be the other actor.
That's true.
Oh, that's true. He still have a hole in his head, though.
That is a production concern.
Yeah.
Well, we can't have him. Can't have him return to normal at the end of the film because we can't get the original actor in. He wants too much money. So
what did we learn about colossal men then? What did we learn? If we come across one of these things out in nature, what do we do?
Don't tickle them.
Yeah. And keep.
Don't stab him with giant hypodermics because then he'll use it as a spear and there you go.
That's true.
A way to a giant's heart is through his stomach.
That's right.
So
just send out the delivery trucks.
Send out a delivery truck. Make sure that they've got lots of tranquilizer in the food. That's how you get them. And then kill him before he can cause damage.
At the end there, they were planning to ship him off this island.
Yeah.
And she was all like, "Oh well, I feel so sorry for him, but I guess that's best." And then of course he's
got a giant hole in his head.
He runs off and starts picking up buses. Starts picking up strangers. So yeah, poor Glenn.
If you become a giant person, you have to be able to handle it emotionally. We've learned that from these films.
I think
If you
that's a
can't
very
handle it emotionally, just throw
that's
yourself
another
off the
good
Hoover
quote,
Dam.
Samuel. If you become a big person, you have to know how to handle it emotionally.
Grab the closest power lines.
They should have had psychologists working with him.
He'll disappear.
Well, I tried,
They
tried
tried to
him
reason
pictures,
with
and
him.
they were showing him, and it's like, nope.
They might have tried some different medications. I don't know. I don't know. What is the protocol these days? What are the protocols?
Give him a giant Prozac.
I think so. I think
Come on, settle down, big fella. Come on, try.
So, what was
try
your
this
relationship?
Haldol.
What was
What
your
was your
relationship like with
sister?
your mother? Were you close?
Attacking the 80-foot psychoanalyst. Get a giant
Now
couch.
that's a good training film. I would watch that. Yeah.
So tell us, Glenn.
Why are you called a shrink when you keep growing?
Attack of the 80-foot psychoanalyst. I got an idea here.
The
There
growing
you go.
shrink. The growing shrink.
The Incredible Shrink.
The Incredible Colossal
The
Shrink.
Incredible Colossal Shrink.
I love
There you
it.
go.
We need a budget and we'll put it
It
Oh,
together.
growing or is he shrinking? Tell me, come on.
It writes itself.
That script would write itself. I believe so. That script would write itself.
If you're out there and you're going to write this, we want royalties.
That's right.
We came up with the original idea. And, well, thank you both for helping me get through these two movies in less than an hour. And next time, I believe we're going to do Godzilla versus Megalon.
Godzilla versus Megalon.
Yes.
All right.
And then this was our 98th episode, by the way. So
We
Godzilla
are
versus
almost
Megalon will be
there.
99. And then I'm going to take you back on a journey to where it all began. We did a pilot for this particular show, the Big Monster Briefing Room, many years ago. Many years ago. And I'm going to show you for the 100th episode, we're going to go back to that movie, which was Yog, Monster from Space. Now, that's not Yog Monster from Space, but Yog, Monster from Space. And that's going to be our 100th episode. And I'm going to show you footage of me and my original sidekick, Corporal Chaos, for that. Yes, Corporal Chaos. Havoc, you remember Chaos, right?
I've often called Chaos. Oh, yeah, but I remember him. Yep.
He's actually a mercenary now. He doesn't want to have anything to do with me. He always got hurt when he was in my care. So he didn't like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I get a picture. I get the postcard every now and again for wherever he's, mercenarying about. Mercenarying?
Hope he wasn't aligned with the Wagner group. I hope he wasn't in Wagner.
So I think he's over in Europe now. Anyway, again, he was a good assistant while he lasted, and it was an interesting time. I was actually not retired at that time. And again, we were talking about Yog, Monster from Space, giant octopus, giant turtle, and giant crab in that movie. So that's what we'll do for our 100th episode a couple weeks from now. I think it'll be after Thanksgiving. We're going to take Thanksgiving Thursday off, of course.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And then we'll be up at 100. We'll be up at 100.
And then we'll get to the 100th episode. So
Thank
you again.
Thank you, everybody.
And I didn't say a face that only a mother could love about Glenn in the second one.
You should have said it. It was right
Yeah.
He
there.
was the Colossal Beast. That's a face that only a mother could love.
Well, hold on. We'll find a picture of him. We'll find a picture of him here.
There you go. Yep.
The bad part's in the shadow.
Hold on. We'll
Actually,
get
the best view of him. There we
There
go.
you
That's
go.
a good one. That's a good one.
All right.
Wait.
Wait. Hold on now. Wait, General. I'm gonna put you up there with him. Hold on.
She wants you to do the noise.
A face that only a mother can love.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go.
We did it.
That's a bite right there.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
All right.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you,
See you next
Cadet.
time for Godzilla versus Megalon. Until then, keep an eye out for those big monsters.
And thank you to Sergeant Havoc. We always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for your expertise and your service. Thank you.
Always
Your
happy to be
service.
here. My service. Yep.
Yes.
Thank you for your cervix.
Thank you.
Wait a minute.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'll say you're welcome.
She's got to take credit for that one. She has to.
It's a great way to go out of this misogynistic movie, right? So we'll just go out saying thank you for your service.
Again, apologies for anything I said during this episode.
No, but like you said that they remind the movies themselves.
The movies, the 50s were
some
kind
of the feelings.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Attack of
what
the 50-Foot Woman, definitely so. Very misogynistic.
Yes.
Very,
So that's what we're talking about. It's not you, General. It's just the vibe.
Chauvinistic. There we go.
Very chauvinistic. All right. Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you.